Good morning. This is Robert Forsch, and I am live on location in Cherry Grove, South Carolina. And I wanted to go over a few dynamics here. One of them would be the water is level in the view there. The wind chime, I really enjoy the wind chimes because they are a beautiful sound. Let me tune that in for you. Make a little, oh, you know what? I've got something I wanted to show you. I'll be right back. Not much wind happening there right now. Not much spin happening either. Actually, no spin. The earth doesn't move. I'll be back with a little bit of wind. So it's the steel electric wind chime mover. Can't see the wind, but you can see the effects of the wind. This is in South Carolina on the coast, obviously, but Cherry Grove, South Carolina. There's the Cherry Grove Pier at the Prince Pier Resort that you can activate the camera on the end or watch others do that. Yeah, it is absolutely stunning. So what I endeavor to do is help people to see through the global lie. I'm going to want to move this back over a little bit closer. I'm going to talk about the water in the jug there. See, the water will seek its level, and I know some people might say, well, that's an awfully small amount of water to make that assertion that the water is flat. Well, let's just use all the water and liquid in the world. That'll work. It levels out. The water that covers the face of the earth. Yeah, I'll throw myself in the picture. Good morning. Good to see y'all. Yeah, somebody said I sound nuts. I guess I'll have to stop doing this. Yeah, just kidding. So I've got a bit to cover today. We can see a little bit of wind movement up here. I've got a few other things that I'm going to show you. Right now, there's condensation in the jug. And I'll take you up close and show you. That's because the water is a little bit warm and the jug is completely full. Watch what happens when I just slosh it around a little bit. Okay, and then I'll put this back and get my trajectory about right. It'll level, hey, welcome aboard. Good to see y'all here. Thanks for your public and private support. The novelty of the wind chime, the electric blower was pretty cool, but I'm gonna just activate the wind chime or the chime with, you could activate it with tidal activity when the water comes in, the gentle waves. And what I endeavor to do is help people to realize that what they're seeing would not be possible on a globe spinning 1,000 miles an hour. And by the way, what would keep that going? What would keep that continuing to spin? Do you think they have wind chimes in Australia? Supposedly upside down in relationship to where we are and where we're viewing in South Carolina right now? No, wouldn't be possible. because a string won't hang upside down. A wind chime won't do this on a globe, spinning 1,038 miles an hour at the equator. It's impossible. So when you hear a wind chime, you might even want to get one. Use it as an example. I've got pictures of them out on the beach. My purpose basically is to share God's word to the ends of the earth around the clock. I encourage everybody to explore my content and see that, yeah, we're not on a globe spinning 1,000 miles an hour, and for gosh sakes, we still got the monkeys that they said we came from. That's the point of all this, to expose the truth about the world we live in. I believe it's going to be humanly impossible to be able to believe the truth of the gospel, the Bible. So that's why I want to expose the global lie. Is I'm not going to cause people to not be born again by exposing the lie of this whole deceptive world that we live in. So I'm going to just take this on out over here for a little bit. Thank you very much. I really do appreciate the public and private encouragement. Somebody said I sounded nuts. I think it was last night or something. Yeah, not nuts. Not crazy. You know what? I'll leverage social media and the multiple platforms to expose the truth. That's just what I'll do, as long as I can. So obviously we've got the sun approaching right there, right about there. How about that? And I'm thinking that this is going to be a couple hours long. I'm going to cover quite a bit of content, quite a few different things. So with this, I can take us around a little bit and show you a few things. Yeah, that'll line right up there. And I wanted to put this in a bit more secure location. And I'm going to go over a few things related to this. The beautiful sound of a wind chime, the beautiful ocean view, the way the water seeks its level. And I want to go through here and show you that even though we've got big waves, well, not that big, but we've got waves on the other side there, what we've got here is a much quieter, very few ripples. It's a perfect plane mirror right in the middle there. Obvious as my eyebrows. Yeah, see the horizon is really level, really flat. They call it the low country down here. Where I live, I'll point to where it is. It's actually over there about 7 miles away and only 25 feet above sea level. Just something pretty important to keep in mind. Yeah, if there was a big tsunami that they said was coming, I would want to go for higher ground to be sure. They're bringing in sand to protect steel reinforced concrete construction. Pretty amazing, isn't it? Sand can do that. Now, in one hurricane, Hurricane Matthew last year, moved just tremendous amount of sand. So we're going to get what's called the beach renourishment process that goes on here, and they're going to bring more in. They can bring in 1,500 dump truck loads in 1 hour by pumping it up off the bottom of the ocean. Okay, I'm going to grab my camera and take that shot right now. So to put this in perspective, eternal perspective, they say, the official liars from NASA and the theoretical physicists that are trying to brainwash and deceive humanity, they say that we are rotating in that direction over 1,038 miles an hour, and that's how come we get to see that. My golly, don't feel the movement, can't feel the spin, no wobbling, gyrating. tilted, hurling through space. It's absurd. Okay, so for people that say I sound nuts, well, keep in mind that to tell the truth with a world that is largely deceived, it is going to sound crazy. It is going to sound nuts. Oh yeah, I'm going to capture a bunch of shots here. And just so you're aware, there's quite often I'm not going to be able to comment on comments in the chat simply because I've got kind of a bit of, hopefully I'll answer the questions through the broadcast. Feel free to private message me if you like, or the other thing is you're welcome to chat on there. That's cool. I don't have a problem with that. Just simply want to address a few things here. Okay, so here we've got Australia. As far as I know, basically the world that we live in is pretty much like a flattened out map of this. What we've got over on this side is a whole bunch of water apparently. It's kind of hard to see when it's clear like this. I'll show you on the other globe as well. But this one works really good to show this particular dynamic. So let's go to North America right here. And in relationship to us, basically on the other side over here where my hand is, let's put it in front of the sun right there. See that? Little difference in perspective. I've got a friend, quite a few friends in Australia, and they tell me that they observe the sun appearing exactly the opposite of us. So I would understand that pretty much to be that it's like watching a parade go by and on opposite sides of the street. The sun is much further south this time of the year, which means it's lower in the sky and further away. Just simply how that works. One of the big deals is water seeks its level all over the face of the earth. And I'm going to take you on in for a walk in just a little bit. I want to show you something inside I find amusing. But this will still out. It'll get real calm and we'll be able to see it. I've got photos of it. Let's just drop it down a little bit. It's kind of like sighting in a gun. I could drop the camera down or raise the water up. Either way, but keep in mind that this will do this all day long. The jug is completely full, atmosphere and liquid oxygen and hydrogen. With absent would be sodium fluoride and a bunch of chemicals that I don't need in my body. Don't want it, not doing it. Okay, so what I want to do is take you on inside for a moment and add a little comic relief. Good to see y'all. Thanks for watching. Little selfie mode here. Yesterday the signal really broke up in here. Let's we can do a little bit with the lighting. Yeah, don't need the fan. So imagine this. Somewhere in the world, would you really think that this works upside down? I understand there's differences in density and mass. Let's get real detailed here. Okay, that's a flush valve. And there it goes. That's what it does all over the face of the earth. That wouldn't work upside down. How about this? You think that would work upside down? No, nope, wouldn't do it. Yeah, what a view. Pretty awesome place. How about when you're washing your hands next time? Would that work upside down? Nope. None of it would. It doesn't have to though, because quite frankly, we live on a level plane. Wind chimes. Isn't that nice? And that's a vintage globe brainwashing tool. Yeah, how about that? Yep, they've been doing it for a long time. They came up with this thing about 500 years ago, evidently. That's what I hear. Yeah, we've got the, whoa, there it stopped spinning. Yeah, interesting, isn't it? Perfect. So let's check out a couple other things I got going on in here. I wanted to show you some, it's going to be kind of like a show and tell. Hey, hey, do you remember a show and tell when we were kids? Yeah, look at that. That's kind of weird, isn't it? Do-do-do-do-do-do. Yeah, things are quite often not as they appear. Now, a gyroscope has a motor operating the spin. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Check this out. Oh, I got to get it out of my bag of stuff. I'm going to grab my tripod and set it up so I can show you these things. Actually, this is the device I wanted to show you. It's just a marble coaster and a suction cup, a Scosche suction cup. Works real good for that. So I'm going to take us inside, do a little bit of a show and tell. While we're out here, I'm going to show and tell you a couple of things. There's going to be bulldozers operating. Dump trucks are going to be backing up and dumping sand out. And they're going to be moving it around out here. That's Myrtle Beach over in that direction. I've got shots of Myrtle Beach way, way far away. And look at the amount of moisture that's out there right now. What'll happen is it impairs the vision. The light bounces off of the water droplets. If you're looking for the curve, it's little spherical atomized moisture, water droplets. And by the way, the moisture here, because it's got a lot of salt in it, is very corrosive. It'll rust metal quite a bit. So like yesterday when I was here, I had this set up, but what the problem that I encountered was that the Wi-Fi or the cellular signal didn't work good. So just pivoting a little bit, kind of interesting looking, isn't it? But it'll help illustrate some things. So I'm going to set this up, and then I'm going to go over a couple of details here. The Tedco gyroscope was developed years ago, and this is what it looks like. So I'll just put that right there, and watch what happens with the direction of spin. Now I'm not changing it at all. It'll just look different after a little bit. And then the real science of it is the low or the heavy spot will drop to the bottom. It'll do it every time. Every time. Got a new computer coming to help me do what I do.
Welcome to Alltech Lansing.
This is a portable speaker that I can use to hear my computer, and of course my Bible.com Bible. I don't read it much. I listen to it day and night, though. I prefer that. And then I'm gonna go over a few things here. So the gyroscope there, that's a ceiling fan, obviously, but the idea is that a gyroscope that's going to operate a guided system, like for a submarine or a missile or an airplane, it's going to end up having a motor on it. That's just what they do with that. That's how that works. So if I position myself so what I can do to make this a little simpler, now notice the shadows because of the light flowing up and all around, and I'll just cut that off. And I wanted to go over a few things that you might find interesting. There's the fragrance of a natural orange. I get it at Walmart. About $3.50 for one of these, and it's all natural. Puts a beautiful fragrance. I used to live in California, ride dirt bikes out near the apple or the citrus orchards. Just gorgeous. Loved it. It's healthier. So I'm going to go over some health issues today because it's a big deal. People are undernourished and they're toxic with what either is being put in or on the body, and then the thoughts that people are thinking, being all angry and bitter, and they don't want to be told that they've been lied to and believed it. I realized that I was lied to and I believed it, and oh well, I just decided to tell the truth about it. So what I like to economize, this is like a 20,000 milliamp battery pack, and I can power up a phone like this with one of those for about a dozen hours. That comes in handy for a longer broadcast. I just have to confirm that it's actually on. So in the context of personal hygiene, there's a lot about this. What do we put in and on our body? One of the big deals that I use is baking soda. You can clean stoves with it, scratchless cleaning of stainless, putting it in a swimming pool or a hot tub to alkalinize it. Makes it really healthy. You can use it for laundry, and I use it to brush my teeth. I'll use a device like this. Ultrasonic works great. Little bit of baking soda. The other thing is, I haven't mentioned this yet, and I don't get celebrity endorsements. Not that I'm a celebrity. I don't get endorsements for what I talk about. This is a Gillette Pro Glide, and it actually takes the layer of skin off. And I would encourage women that have that irritating mustache, just go ahead and shave it and maybe look into some hormone treatment. I don't know. But the idea of the shaver is that it keeps the skin looking young. I use coconut oil to protect the skin from the sun, the wind, drying out, that kind of thing. If you're in a climate where there's a lot of heating going on, like in the winter, I used to, when we lived in Wisconsin, I chopped a lot of firewood, and we had a wood burner. Well, the skin can dry out quite a bit, so it's really valuable to have the nutrients that help the skin. And when I put it on in the shower, I use this coconut oil like this right here. Right now, it's in a solid form, and it'll turn clear when it gets above 77 degrees, from what I understand. So I'll put about a golf ball size amount in my mouth that's been exfoliated with the baking soda gloves. I use, they're nylon, and I keep them soaking in a baking soda solution. The purified water and baking soda, about a quarter cup and about 8 ounces or 12 ounces of purified warm water. What it does is it stops fungus from growing in them. They're not going to smell musty. You know, maybe you've had in your kitchen, if you've got sponges, towels, rags, washcloths, baking soda kills the bacteria. So it's perfect for that. That's why they recommend it for all these cleaning supplies. Now, in this right in the litter boxes, when I clean the litter boxes out, I use the pine pellets. They work great. They absorb moisture and they don't give off the clumping type product. What it does is it contaminates and hurts the respiratory system. Breathing in that stuff that turns into like concrete, not so good for the lungs. So the pine pellets work great. I scoop the wet stuff out in the obvious other cat markers, and I just put them in a container and dump them outside. Now, in a garbage can. When I scoop it all out, all the stuff I want out of there, I sprinkle probably about actually about a half a cup of baking soda in there, work it all around, and put fresh pine pellets over the top. We go through probably, I would say 80 pounds of pine pellets a month for 8 cats. Works great. So when I'm going to go back to the personal hygiene. When I've exfoliated my skin, then I see I'm a pretty tan guy, and I can see a lot of the layer, or I should say it's like a darker colored rinse. It looks like iced tea coming off of me real quickly, and then I go ahead and put the coconut oil on and work my skin all around, because we've got more going on in our body than simply blood circulation. There's a lymphatic system, and I want to move that around. I want it to carry the toxins that I may have absorbed somehow. I try to avoid them, but yeah, it's kind of nice, isn't it? It moves the it moves the toxins to the liver, kidney, bladder, and gets rid of it. Important stuff to know. Good to know. So I'll put in my coconut oil, I'll put in the coffee. Now these look identical, don't they? Well, this one is cool on the outside. This one is warm. The vacuum chamber on this one is not functioning. Works great. How is that? Well, because I want to drink it now. And what I can do is transfer that one to this one when I'm done, and it works great. See, looks can be deceiving. Seeing is believing what? Fear, I've heard it said, is false evidence appearing real. Yeah. Well, and that's deception. What is real evidence appearing false? You know, when we show people flat water and all that, what about that? Yeah, very nice. And what I'm going to go and grab my water jug because I want to illustrate that some more. And see, what I've endeavored to do is help people see things from a different perspective. So if we just watch the movement a little bit of the lens, notice the difference. I've actually got a picture of a bald eagle looking right at me. And I was working with them, or at least I was zoomed in about a quarter of a mile away, and I saw him all of a sudden snap his head and look right at me. Do you think that the lens reflection had anything to do with it? Oh yeah. Yeah, there's real repeatable observations that we can confirm. I can believe something and then I can know it. Believing isn't less valuable than knowing. Sometimes believing is the best that we can do. As far as the existence of God, I know there's a lot of people that have differing opinions on that. I believe he's real. Just like he's invisible, just like the wind is not visible. Let me flip this around, it'll be easier to show you. But there's a gentle breeze coming through here right now. I can feel it. I can hear what it's doing to the wind chime. Now the glass is got a thermal pane in the middle. It's 2 layers of glass, and it will stop the moisture from collecting on it, like this right here. Now watch what happens. I believe that those droplets will come off, and they just move down into the main chamber there, or the main concentration of liquid. And that'll happen all around the world. You know, when we look at these different dynamics, they're repeatable observations, and I enjoy being out and about like this. It's beautiful. We get people from all over the world that come here. This is a bit of the quiet season. And when I started out by saying, wow, I see a little fox running out there. I can tell it's a fox because it's not being walked by a person, and it's moving really fast and it's slow. And I know he lives here. Now there's a couple with a dog. But it's probably pretty hard for you to see them. I can see them just fine. When the bulldozers come out here, they might be on vacation for all I know. I would have expected them to be out here already. I think they're taking a break. Yeah. The gentleman who oversaw the beach renourishment, Ed, worked in the Middle East with this company, Great Lakes Dock and Dredge, and they created a landmass 80 miles square, or not exactly square, but 80 miles above sea level in a landmass that they pumped up from the bottom of the ocean. See, even that job wouldn't even work if water didn't seek its level. It'll rush in all around there, but the higher is going to be drier. That's just what it does. So we can see that the tide is, or the tide is coming in right now, and it'll just continue to do that until it reaches a limit, and then it'll turn around and go back out. About 6¼ hours per cycle. We get a high and low tide each day. What I wanted to show you is I've got a couple of feathers here, and I'm not sure what kind of bird this little white one came off of, probably seagull, and then the bigger one is obviously a pelican feather. And what's interesting about this, I'm gonna need to disconnect this for a moment. I did this yesterday. I tossed a feather off, and the wind is coming from that direction, southwest right now. So it's gonna blow them down that way. And I would think that the big feather is gonna hit the ground before the little, the white feather. So I'm gonna throw them and see what we get. The big feather landed, well, and the little feather landed, you know, about a couple seconds later. And that's one of those repeatable observations. I was talking about it yesterday, and then mentioned free fall speed and buildings on 9/11. They fell in their footprint at free fall speed. People should know that. Building 7 wasn't hit by any aircraft, and it was demolished, as buildings 1 and 2 were demolitions as well, killed a bunch of people. The false pretense for war, a lot of other people were killed. Then a lot of veterans felt bad about doing that. Then they get on drugs, and then they kill themselves too. It's tragic. Okay, so there's going to be a lot of empty place settings in at Christmas gatherings today. Not today, but this upcoming season. And that's part of the tragedy of war, is that so many people die, and it's intentional. And there are the United States is one of the producers of a lot of weapons and distributors of death. Okay. So right here is a seashell, obviously, and I want to show you one of the dynamics of this. Is that it was made by God, and it'll float on the water. In fact, I'm gonna show you something. It may seem kind of funny, but I want to prove it to you. And obviously I'll wash it off later, but I'm going to take it and just set it in here. Have you ever seen this before? No, I believe it's not going to get flushed down there. It wouldn't do that. There you go. And then the seashell is coming back up, and you know, some people say, oh yeah, we can tell we're spinning, we're on a globe because of the direction the toilet moves. No, we're not. By the way, that was all sanitary. We have a cleaning business. That's one of the reasons why I can come here. We don't have an oceanfront condo. So because there's layers of shell that I'm looking through, if I turn it a little bit, then we can see that it's translucent. See that? Now with the moon, it goes through phases. It's well, I don't know how much it's obviously it looks like a sphere when it's full. However, I've got plenty of footage of the moon that it's definitely not a sphere. It's not perfectly round. So it's an interesting shape. You can look at it if you care to. One of the other things that I wanted to go over is the liquid nutrition that I consume. And I'm going to go over the list of what's in there so that you can know what it is, so you can make it if you want to. What I put in it, this has got an impeller that has stainless steel cutters that turn it into a puree. It's like a smoothie. And it tastes really good. It's got mixed berries in it, but I'm going to give you the list right now. Spinach, kale, chia seed, broccoli, hemp hearts, apple cider vinegar, raisins, craisins, prunes, mixed berries, sometimes walnuts. It's all real healthy. And then what I'll do is put in bananas, applesauce, apple juice, grape juice. And the juices I typically add when I reconstitute a really thick kind of a paste, because when I get the spinach from the store, like Costco, I'll get a massive bag of spinach and I put it in the freezer right away. When this device shatters the spinach, it turns it into a green powder, basically. So I use the minimal amount of liquid necessary to make what is about 5 gallons of material that I put in empty coconut oil containers. Put them in the freezer, and then I put them back in the fridge when after I'm getting ready to add some apple juice, applesauce, the liquids that don't need to be frozen. That's the idea of that. We don't have a walk-in freezer to put 15 gallons of material. Just a normal size in a top and bottom fridge. And I'll also add the water. And the water is not just regular water. It's reverse osmosis, carbon filtered, and it doesn't have the chlorine or the fluoride or whatever else is in there. See, the public water system isn't designed to take out other people's prescriptions. So I'm not taking them, and I certainly don't want to take somebody else's. You know what I mean? So that's really important. The water that's in the world right now may have been around for a long time. I suspect that it is. It covers the face of the earth. I know there's a lot of opinions on how the different dynamics work with the tidal activity and what shape is the world actually. Well, if you fill a container with water, it fills the shape of whatever the container is. And there are plenty of biblical references to support a non-moving earth. Okay, so whatever shape the container is that the water is in, and then the outer container that holds it. I don't know. Could there be more of these? Oh yeah. Yeah, why not? God made this one. He can make a bunch of them if he wants. So it's moving, but just not enough to really get reflections in my photography. It's just beautiful. The closer, see, the sun is going to run a course like this and then land about right over there this time of the year. And even though it came up over here today, it came up way over there on the other side of this building a bit in the summertime. Now, the sun and the moon in the summer in a particular day are visible for about 12 hours each. This time of the year, the sun is going to be visible for about 3 hours less than the moon. It's just the way that works. So that's when it's lower in the sky here, it's further away. It's all about perspective. So the proximity to the sun makes it a lot warmer. So how does the sun actually work? What is it? How does it heat? There are devices that heat up objects like radiant heat rather than there's other methods of heating. So I'm not sure exactly how it works. There's the flat water in the middle again. So I'll just toss them out. Yeah, the bigger feather lands before the lighter, smaller feather. Put a bunch of those together on a bird, give them plenty of fish to eat and other stuff, and they do a great job here. So what I wanted to share with you too is there are some dynamics on social media that we can implement. One of them is, yeah, the globe in the background there. One of them is that we can subscribe to YouTube channels. When that happens, quite often people will look at our channel to see if they want to be connected with us. So I use it as kind of like saying hi. That's what I do. So I'll go to the NASA live feed, and then I'll go ahead and subscribe to some of these people. And quite often I'll see the discussion that's happening in the chat on the NASA channel, not the Math Powerland, but the ISS live feed. So what'll happen is they'll be talking about the shape of the Earth and bubbles in space. That was one of the comments that got me banned was, what about bubbles in space? And maybe there's a machine, they call it machine learning. Pay attention, machine. I'm going to be schooling you. It's not just me, it's the Holy Spirit living through me. That's what I want you all to know about. What's going on here isn't natural. What's going on with me, it's supernatural. Yeah, look at that camera angle. The globe. Yeah, wind chimes wouldn't work on a globe. Neither would a crane, neither would the toilet. None of it would work. Couldn't take a shower upside down. That's silly. Okay, we got the monkeys still. We didn't come from the monkeys. So like I said yesterday, well, that fan stopped. I believe that it would start working again if I flipped on the switch. Well, yeah, of course it would. What would be keeping an Earth rotating, spinning 1,038.5 miles an hour? No, it's not. However, there are mysteries and dynamics with the sun and the moon that we really don't know the answer to. If you've got concerns about my cosmology, sociology, theology, feel free to private message me, or just scroll on by if you're not interested. That's okay too. On the messenger program, you can actually call me or somebody else, and it's just a data charge. Now, because I'm on Wi-Fi right now, no charge. So if you can get to a hotspot, you can have a conversation with somebody around the world like that. Many of you know this. And then the other nice dynamic is if you want to disconnect from somebody, it's easy enough to do on Messenger. That's a good thing to be able to do. On my liked video playlist, what I did is picked out a bunch of videos to back up what I'm talking about that I believe in, that I believe to be true. One of the biggest things for me and why I talk about it so much, I thought I was born again over 30 years ago until I actually was about 3 years ago on Reformation Day. The change in me is so significant that I just wanted to share with people that, you know, I thought I was wondering why I was struggling so much. Now, there are people that won't be available to attend Christmas get-togethers because they've transitioned, they've died according to this world's terms. Now, what's happened is they've transitioned to eternity, wherever they're going to spend. Now, 3 people per second no longer have their physiological, biological interface with the human experience. We're all eternal beings having a temporary human experience. I listen to the Bible a lot, find a lot of peace and joy and focus. Like I say, passion, purpose, and perspective, it's a big deal. So that's really the main focus of my life, is to expose the truth about God's Word and the truth about the world that we live in. Now, I had a conversation, some of this is a repeat of the early broadcast and others. I don't mind. I'll just kind of put it together so I can talk to people about it. Had a conversation with a lady from the Apple Corporation, and it was about 5 minutes to deal with what I wanted to work through. That was business. And then we had an interactive dialogue that lasted over 2 hours. Interesting. You know, somebody can just hang up the phone if they're not interested, or they can scroll on by. Lots of questions. So there's the physical me that's talking to you right now. As soon as I end the broadcast and I post it, it'll be up there until it gets taken down. Will my channel get taken down? I don't know. What my desire to do is to help other people realize the power of our own personal syndication. What we can do is have a YouTube channel like I do, Eternal Perspective. And what I do with that is compile playlists and videos that I've found educational and beneficial. And with that in mind, what I'll do is basically connect with people. And I'm doing a cross-pollination of sorts where I'll use the copy and paste, Command C, the address bar of the item I want to copy. I hit Command C after I click on the address bar, and then I go to where I want to put it. And as many of those will stay in there as I want until I add a different one. I'll go to where I want to put it and click Command V. So when I want to post a video, I've got like 500 and some, over 525 videos, including some live feeds that are, I believe, really beneficial. What I'll do is I'll go to my liked video playlist and I'll click on that, and I'll take a video out of that list, and then I'll post it. And what happens and I can put it in my Facebook pictures, What's nice about that is a lot of people have liked my profile picture over the years, not just because of the way it looks. It's kind of like one of those common courtesy things where you acknowledge that you went to somebody's profile and you liked a few things. Well, the profile picture quite often stays up there. Yeah, they may pick a different one, but it's kind of a way that what happens is even if somebody is not following me, if they didn't unfriend me or if they didn't block me, I believe they'll get a notification. I see people like a comment on a picture, and I haven't had any interaction with them for quite some time. And so it's a nice way for notifications to happen. With my presence on social media in the Facebook area, when I go live on Facebook, I get a lot of activity there. So I try and balance it out between Facebook and YouTube, and copying and pasting different, like my photo album to my YouTube videos, and then my liked video playlist on my Facebook pictures and posts that I make. On the speaker, I wanted to talk about that. I use a remote speaker like this. It'll have about 11 hours of broadcast time. I can link it to my computer or iPhone. The other thing that I can do too is with my Google Chromecast I can actually connect my router and scroll through and play YouTube videos on the television. Right now the kiddies are, when I left, they were listening to the Gospel of John movie and watching it. They like to watch TV too. And then it'll go into my video list. So I could put on one of my extended discussions and they could see me out at the ocean. I'm sure that the kiddies would be a hit on the beach, but yeah, I probably won't be taking them there anytime soon. But their pictures of them are on the photo album, my Eternal Perspective Bible.com photo album. And then I've also got a page called Eternal Perspectives Bible.com and a group, Eternal Perspective, the Ellipse, Bible.com. Gives me a little bit of a broader reach, more people that I can interact with. And if you've wanted to accept one of my friend requests but were unable to because I had my friend limit, just know that if you if you keep in touch, take a look at it and send me a private message, I'll try and make room for you when I can. Typically, I don't unfriend somebody unless I really need to because they're wanting to take over my profile for their misguided agenda. I won't allow that. And then the other thing is if they've deactivated an account, I typically delete those. So like I mentioned earlier on the earlier broadcast, I don't have anybody blocked right now. I don't need to. My commenting by people on my posts now is by friends only. It's a little bit more manageable. Otherwise, the people that are, they could be paid shills. They could just be angry with the world and decide they want to pick on somebody. It happens a lot. I just have a pretty tight security that way. I don't allow people to just post on my profile. And if you've got issues that you would like me to look at, like a conspiracy, something you believe should be discussed, feel free to private message me and I'll take a look at it. Keep in mind the ceiling fan up there spins. The wind chimes will make noise, beautiful music. The globe, that's a lie. That's not happening. So let's see if the ceiling fan still works. Yep, still does. Still doing that. I believe that the wind chime will still make sound. condensation still. And then it goes away. See, the water will seek its level all over the face of the earth. In the off season here, we don't get as many tourists. What we do get are more homeschooling families and people that don't have children that are with them anymore, like they've grown up and left the house. So even at the Christmas table, this people celebrating family time together, there's going to be a lot of sadness. Actually, the suicide rate in the Christmas season is really high. So just keep that in mind as you're commenting on people's posts and all of that, and not just Christmas, anytime. It's, you know what, people should really consider the weight of their words, what they really mean to people. What I'm all about is caring. I care about people, and I want for them to be able to enjoy what happened to me. What happened to me is I was born again. Now, if I get closer to this right here, the light bounces off of there. It's kind of like a reflector of sorts. You know, there's all kinds of dynamics that we can learn when we pay attention. On some of my videos, I've actually had people, you know, comment that they wanted to know how I get such awesome shots, and largely it's I ask the Lord to help me to do that, and He does. He's taught me a lot of how to do this and how to capture things that get people's attention, you know. Yeah, none of this doesn't work. And like I mentioned earlier, and it's a little bit easier to see on this particular globe here, on this side of the earth, this globe model that they've got, there's a lot of water over here, and then on the other side there's a lot of land. And with the physics and property of water filling its the container that it's in all over the face of the earth, you can put centrifugal force on a container like a blender, and it spins it on out. You know, we can look at the physics and property of the water wherever it is, and I'm fascinated by it. Like I said before, the jug is completely full of liquid oxygen and hydrogen, and then atmosphere up above. And it's really important to have good, clean drinking water to supply the vehicle to remove the toxins from our body. So that water is extremely aggressive, and what it does is it absorbs toxins more effectively. When I take my shower in the morning, pretty much every day, and I have a quart of that purified water in glass warmed up on the stovetop so it's a comfortable temperature, and I'll rinse my body off with that, including my face. And when I use the Gillette Pro Glide shaver with the coconut oil on my skin, it keeps it young looking because it's pretty new skin. I scrubbed off the older stuff, the stuff from the day before, or for however long it's been on me. I'm scrubbing it away, you know, and then the coconut oil adds nourishment to the skin, the hair, the nails, and it's a great brain food. You should know that. It's a big deal. Yeah, so there's the TV, but it's actually kind of like a mirror, isn't it? Yeah, all kind of interesting what we can do with different camera angles. A swivel chair like that, pretty helpful. I think what I want to leave for the end of the view would be the wind chime. You know, I don't have a swivel chair either here. Well, this isn't our home. I'm just simply here to do a little broadcast, and then I'll post that and share it, and you're welcome to as well. So I'm gonna wrap this up and simply say, feel free to contact me anytime if you like. If I don't take the call live, it's simply something I'll get back to it when I'm able to. And I don't pretend to have all the answers on how to work all this out. I would simply say that each of us have people, we have a sphere of influence. Not a sphere like a globe, it's like a reach that we have around us. Now, for those that say that I'm distracted with the issue of the shape of the world, that I should just stick to sharing the gospel, well, au contraire. I do share the gospel. And what I'm finding is a lot of people that are very interested in learning the truth about what's going on in this world. And I'm one of the people that loves to share the truth. And that's what I'll do day and night. So that's what I'm about. Thank you so much for your public and private encouragement. And I hope you have a wonderful time with friends and family, and enjoy your life. See how we can make a difference and bring joy and peace. And, you know, keep in mind that by and large, as we share the truth with the world that largely doesn't want to hear it, that's going to be difficult because, you know, a lot of times they're going to be insulting and mean and all of that. Oh, well, I'll share the truth anyway. The truth expressed in love. That's the big deal. Let's see if I can put a beautiful musical tone to this. Yeah, that wouldn't work upside down now, would it?